Good morning. I'm Mr. Sudhakar, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering. We are going to see the subject of disaster risk reduction management under the topic of disaster risks and elements. First, what is disaster risk? We all know what is the disaster. We discussed in the previous topic also. So we all know the what is the disaster, what are the risk types, and what are the causes and remedies. These are the topics we discussed before the video. Now we are going to first thing disaster. Disaster risk is expressed as the likelihood of loss of life, injury or destruction and damage from the disaster in the given period of time. Right? It is simply is widely recognized as the consequences of interaction between a hazard and the characteristics that make people that places vulnerable and exposed. Right? Then disaster risk is results from complex interaction between development and processes that generate conditions of exposure, vulnerability and hazard. These three things are adding of three things like hazard, expose and vulnerability is equal to risk. Right? This commonly called as a disaster risk. Right? This is the picture shows what is the ratio, what is the availability of other three things combined with the risk. These three things are combined together with called as a risk. These risks are happens with various types and various types that will be having each types and each risk are having the individual causes and individual remedies. These causes and remedies are used to resolve the risk during the disaster time. Right? The combination of severity and frequency of hazard, the number of pupils and assets exposed to the hazard, and their vulnerability to damage. Hazard, vulnerability and expose are influenced by the number of risk drivers, including poverty and inequality, badly planned or managed urban and regional development, climate change and environmental degradation. Right? Then disaster risk is the product of possible damage caused by the hazard due to the vulnerability within the community. Right? Then what is the components of the disaster risk is the first thing divided into physical disaster, that is coming under the magnitude, frequency and duration, and the second thing human vulnerability, that is exposition, resistance and resilience. That exposition is the location of hazard, environmental resistance is a lifestyle with earnings and health, and resilience is adjustments, risk reduction activities and preparations of disaster. Then what is the understanding of risk is to possibility and what will be occur and consequences. Then that is a simple example is how the disaster coming. We should know once come what will be taking the action of that disaster and how to came out from the disaster risk. That is the understanding of risk. Each and every public, each and every human should know what the types of disasters happening in that particular local areas and be aware that disasters. Now the government having in they take initial steps because they are if supposed to having coming any disaster means it will be periodically informed to the public through phone or news channels and social medias like that. So nowadays the disaster awareness is easy to access the all the pupils comparatively in past 50 years old. Right? Next, elements of disaster risk. The potential damage is that key elements are disaster risk. It may economic and environment. Once the disaster came, the individual person economic also down, or the country economical ratio will be coming down, or the environmental changes will be occurred. These are all the some elements to obtaining the during the disaster risk time. Okay. For an example, that for it coming the cyclone means there are affected the society, that local society due to high air force and high rain. Due to that rain, the agriculture will be spoiled, or things will be damaged, or home building will be damaged, like this. Normal activity of human life will be interrupted due in some disaster. That is the causes of that disaster risk, right? Then causes and reasons of the risk. Why the unpredictability? In some disasters are coming very shortly. In 2012, in tsunami, we didn't know the tsunami will be coming that see. All the pupils and all the actions will be happening regularly, regularly. Unfortunately, the tsunami will be coming. So there is no person to predict whether the tsunami will come that particular day or in future. That will not happen. That will not happen, because there is no that time. The technological improvement also, it is little bit low. Nowadays we are having some technological advantage, so we have to easily predict the time what disaster will be coming, and that time we give the alert to the all the surroundings and will be aware of that disasters. Next, cost and benefit analysis. Some areas of California and USA, an example, have an excellent climate, superb beaches, and wide range of job opportunities. In places like Iceland, geothermal energy can be generated from the volcanic rocks. Many minerals and precious stones are found in volcanic areas only. Volcanic rock provide mineral-rich, fertile soil, which is excellent for agriculture also. Organic soil often found these spectacular areas of sceneries which provide an excellent opportunity for the development of that tourism. So these things will be helpful to that particular government for improving the economically in that country. There are different ways to dealing the risk, such as risk acceptance, that is as informed as decision to accept the possible consequences and likelihoods of the particular risk. Then second thing, going to the see risk avoidance, an informed decision to avoid the involvement in activities leading to the risk realizations. The next, risk reduction, refers the applications of the appropriate techniques to reduce the likelihood of risk occurrence and its consequences. Then last thing, risk transfers, involves shifting the burden of the risks to another party. One of the most common forms to risk transfer the insurance. Thank you.